Now hold on just a second, I'm gonna need all of you to put down the pitchforks because you haven't even heard me talk about the damn game! Sonic Heroes is really impressive to me, in the sense that I've never had a Sonic game that managed to make me change my opinion so much by just playing a different set of characters while still playing the same game. Sonic Heroes was the game that immediately followed the Adventure duology when it comes to 3D mainline Sonic games, and after this game, Sega will become so desperate that they immediately made Shadow the Hedgehog and afterwards decided to make Sonic 06. Proving that the domino theory is indeed real. The game, from what I've seen, has received mixed reception ever since launch, with a bunch of people putting it alongside a good batch of Sonic games, while the others place it squarely alongside the poison that companies love to drink every other Tuesday. Kotaku, it's been 16 years since Sonic 06! Oh wait, it's almost been 17 years. Oh wait, I'm getting older. I wanted to see how well the game has aged, and I also just wanted an excuse to actually play the game since it's always been one of those games that I wanted to play from the franchise. I just never really got the chance to. I'm gonna get someone really mad, so let's just jump right into it. Sonic Heroes is a game that has the main gimmick of having like a bajillion characters to play as. Because of the plot of the game, a bunch of characters who get together in teams to try and collectively beat the shit out of Eggman. None of the teams work together with each other to beat the shit out of Eggman, but they all have collective beef with him. Team Sonic, well, you probably know the deal with them by now. Team Dark wants to kill Eggman and steal his treasure, Team Rose wants to go check the lost and found section of his airship, and Team Chaotix is broke as hell. Do none of the characters live in houses, or is Team Chaotix getting scammed? The story isn't anything that takes itself painfully seriously. It's simply the bullshit explanation of how a team got from one level to the next, and that's fine, but it feels like either they didn't have time to make the story actually worth a damn, or they definitely didn't have time. This is Sonic team we're talking about. Half the time I'm wondering just what the actual sequence of events in this damn game is, because they all go to the same locales at relatively the same time, and they all end in the same place by the end of the game. Does one team just so happen to get there before the others? We're running through the same streets here, I don't get it! Furthermore, what the hell is up with the dialogue in the game? It has many of the same issues as Adventure 1 and 2, but on top of that, these ones just don't make any sense. The characters decide to throw hands for no reason. Again, we have the same objective here. Sonic games are not made for story, but please, for the love of God, at least let me get on with the gameplay at least. I was button mashing the 360 controller at the speed of sound, but no button did shit. At least the game looks pretty good. I do believe that this is the best looking game of this era of Sonic. It has many vibrant and unique stages that you don't see in many other places, even for Sonic standards. The game did try to combine many of the 2D elements with the 3D formula, and these wackier stages definitely feel like a part of that. If only they were not that long. Sonic Heroes divides itself into 4 campaigns: Team Sonic, Dark, Rose, and Chaotix, the 4 moods of a man. Each one of those is also divided into 3 categories, as there are the speedy characters, the strong characters, and the flying characters, all essential to the main gameplay loop of Heroes. You will be constantly switching to these characters throughout most of the levels and doing stuff that only they can do, or in some cases things that are easier with one character than with the others. Speed characters are your best option if you're going to go fast, flying characters are the easiest to handle when platforming, and strong characters are strong. Do the math. It's really nice they actually managed to fit all of the casts and actually managed to make them playable, even bringing back obscure characters like the Chaotix. Kind of wish the game controlled well. This is without a doubt in my mind one of the worst controlling Sonic games that actually have you use an actual controller and not a safety hazard. The speed characters are nigh unplayable in some occasions because of the fact that yes, they are fast, but it comes at the cost of the character just running off the stage if I slightly press the right button. Oh, and the power characters are not safe either when it comes to randomly throwing themselves off the stage. At the very least, Knuckles isn't, because damn, did this man just enjoy whiffing the easiest hits and just going to sleep on me. It doesn't help that the combat is mind-numbingly boring. The enemies are health sponges. The amount of health that they have is insane. There is no reason for them to use so much health, and there isn't a lot of approaches to actually handle the enemies. You either punch them hard, spam the homing attack, or do whatever with the flight characters, and you'll quickly find yourself repeating this over and over and over and over and over again. There's an attempt to make the encounters more varied, trying to force you to use certain characters first and then the others, but doesn't take away from the fact that the combat is not engaging. It's tedious at best and sleep-worthy at worst. And let's not forget the flight characters. Actually, they're fine. They're the easiest to control in comparison to the rest of the characters, and they have the ability to fly, so it's easier to handle. They're slower, so they won't run off the stage at supersonic fuck you speeds, and are easier to platform with. although I still wouldn't say they control like a very good 3D platformer. Oh, and don't think I've forgotten about the stages. Oh, did I ever play these stages? I generally don't think that the stages are all that bad. Like, actually, realistically speaking, the stage design in this game is, for the most part, fine. The stages have multiple paths that take advantage of the character types and give the game some replay value. Many of the stages have a lot of fun gimmicks, except the casino stage, because what the hell are these physics? Did they even think this through? Were they planning on the paint being intentional? For the most part, the gimmicks are fine, but the problem is that these stages go on for so long. One of the good things about Sonic is that the stages are relatively short, and the better you get at the stages, the faster you get through the stages. That's more or less the Sonic replay value. It's been in Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Sonic 1, 2, 3, CD, Mania, even 4 Episode 1, 2, Generations Unleashed, Colors, every good and even every bad 3D Sonic game has had this design philosophy. Sonic Heroes, however, has a different way of approaching the life of these stages, as depending on the character, you'll be stuck on the stage for nearly 10 minutes. And it has the same structure as the 2D Sonic games, so the stages have 2 whole zones to beat. The first campaign you play as is probably Team Hero, Team Sonic Team, I don't care. And this is meant to be like the normal difficulty, the average campaign all around. So tell me why these stages are still like 7 goddamn minutes! Dealing with the bad controls dipped in the butter pool is already bad enough, and you're telling me I gotta deal with them while also running whole marathons in here? I thought the Sonic campaign was just okay. Again, I thought the stages took too long and the controls were an actual disease, but it was still enjoyable after, getting used to the horrible controls. I cannot stress this enough. But after playing like half of Team Dark's campaign, I came to realize that all it took was playing the stage an extra 2 minutes to change that opinion from just okay to absolute hate. The stages in Team Dark's campaign go on for way too long. The length actually kills most of these stages for me. And again, not because the level design is bad, but because playing with bad controls for 10 minutes straight while trying to keep all of your lives intact isn't really the most fun. Team Chaotix ain't safe, but it's for an entirely different reason, as they're going on treasure hunts and looking for different things. Or gambling. Rent's gotta get paid somehow. The best team, oddly enough, was by far Team Rose, because they actually cut down the stages to actually normal proportions. Yes, the only thing that was needed for me to start enjoying these stages was to make the stages 2 minutes shorter, because trust me, it gets boring to have to see the same scenario for so long, and God help you if you have to retry the stages. Besides the technical issues, the piss poor control, the drawn out stages that really overstay their welcome, and the weird writing, the worst issue of Sonic Heroes is by far the repetition. I'm going to say it now. There's no problem with the game having different characters go through the same stage, but change the order a little, please. What drove me the most insane is that you play through the same stage, the same game, it's just the same game 4 different times, with basically the same characters, the same stages, the same dogshit controls, and the same dogshit bosses. You play a 3-hour, 7 to 6 out of 10 game 4 times over. When you make a player replay the campaign, try to change something up. Adventure had Tails and Knuckles and Sonic stages, but the difference is that in there, they got their own paths and shortcuts and played very differently. In a game like Devil May Cry, you have characters with their own moveset and combo potential. For as much shit as I gave DMC4, at the very least Dante played differently from Nero, which made the replaying the game backwards part much more bearable. Sonic Heroes, however, does none of that, and I don't know how many times I can say this, makes you do that shit again! Let's talk about the bosses. All 3 of them. And one of them is just a bunch of enemy waves. What the fuck happened during the development of this game? Sonic Heroes is a weird game because it has many of the aspects that you would expect to like from a Sonic game, and for the most part they do it well. It tries to reach a balance between the 2D and 3D games and their design philosophies. It has a bunch of characters to play with, a banger soundtrack, great visuals, and it has a lot of good level design. And yet I can't help but feel that I also despise a lot of different parts of the game. A lot of the levels get drawn out, and as a result I end up despising those. And it feels like a regression from what we had in Adventure 1 and 2, and suffers from many technical issues that prevent it from reaching its true potential. No matter what I say now though, I will definitely say that all is forgiven for the simple fact that the final boss goes crazy! my apologies. I had to turn on the fan. You know how the heat can get, you know. Well, that's all the time that I've had for today. I don't have anything special to say right now, so I guess this is just kind of the end. I'm just a random stranger you met on the internet. But hey, just call me Pseudo.